Hello, my name is Glen MacChesney, and I am a Master of Education student at the American College of Education. This is a presentation on the blended learning instructional model and its applications within the Universal Design for Learning framework in science classrooms in the United Arab Emirates. In this presentation, I will define the blended learning instructional model and discuss how this framework satisfies the principles of the Universal Design for Learning. I will then demonstrate how the blended learning model can be applied to a unit on the periodic table of elements to a group of 7th grade students in the United Arab Emirates. Blended learning is an instructional model that is designed for 21st century learners. In this framework, students participate in a combination of face-to-face instruction and online learning experiences. Blended learning can be applied using 3 different models: the supplemental model, the replacement model, and the emporium model. The supplemental model enhances traditional classrooms with additional technology resources that are to be completed online. The replacement model uses more online instruction and reduced classroom contact hours, which are spent doing more interactive activities based on content learned online. The emporium model completely flips the classroom to an online environment, and face-to-face instruction is eliminated. The Universal Design for Learning instructional framework promotes student access to learning across the cognitive, communication, and physical domains, and plays an important role in breaking down barriers to educational diversity. UDL aims to use effective planning strategies to activate the brain network of recognition to provide students with multiple means of representation, the strategic network to provide multiple means of action and expression, and the affective network to provide multiple means of engagement. The UDL approach allows teachers to identify and offer support methods for overcoming educational barriers for all students, including those with special needs, and technology plays a central role in this. Blended learning allows teachers to apply UDL principles in several ways, altering the way content knowledge is transferred to students from traditional face-to-face instruction to online environments in a variety of formats while using classroom time for interactive activities. Offer students multiple means of representation, which activates the recognition brain network defined by UDL. Allowing students to learn and create using online technologies offers students multiple means of action and expression, which activates the strategic brain network of UDL. By blending face-to-face and online instruction, teachers move away from traditional paper and pencil tasks while selecting high-quality, engaging materials for students to interact with using technology, which offers students multiple means of engagement, which activates the affective brain network of UDL. The blended learning instructional model can easily be applied to science classroom instruction. Experiential learning in science is important for students as they develop investigative skills while learning about new concepts. Students would benefit greatly from a reduction in the instructional time required for educators to teach students about new concepts. Blended learning allows students to learn about new concepts online, at home, or from anywhere, and spend more classroom time engaging with materials and learning experiences that focus on higher order thinking skills and the 21st century skills of communication, collaboration, creativity, and critical thinking. To implement blended learning in the United Arab Emirates, teachers must make cultural considerations to prevent student resistance. Students in the UAE who are used to more structure may resist certain elements of a blended learning environment, and as such, teachers should provide clarity, support, and structure throughout a blended learning unit. Next, I will demonstrate how the blended learning framework can be implemented in a science classroom in the UAE on the topic of the periodic table of elements. Before beginning the unit, I would post a link on our Class Edmodo website for students to access an online video from the Khan Academy to allow students to revise their learning about atoms, molecules, and compounds. A short quiz following the video, also posted on Edmodo, will allow me to assess the student's background knowledge. The responses to the quiz will automatically allow students to address any misconceptions they may have before beginning the unit. Using Edmodo in my classroom is one way that I would remove some of the resistance of my students to an unstructured unit following a blended learning design. Creating a schedule that students can access via Edmodo will also help them to be aware of the necessary timelines for completion of tasks and required online homework. On the first day of classroom instruction, I would introduce students to the final task, which would be to create an online group presentation about any 2 elements of their choice. Students would be able to choose the format in which they wish to present, be it an animated or filmed video, a blog post, or some other teacher-approved format. Students would be given a rubric that describes the specific learning outcomes that are to be covered in the video and an instruction sheet. These would be available via Edmodo. Classroom activities would be designed to give students the opportunity to interact with a variety of materials and different ways of working that build from lower to higher order thinking skills. For example, a lesson at the beginning of the unit would allow students to make ink solutions of various dilution levels. This investigation would activate the students' background knowledge on particles, which would lead to a discussion about atoms and elements. Students would continue on to other engaging, hands-on activities, such as element card sort activities and building molecules with manipulatives. Later activities would become more complex and require students to use knowledge learned from further online videos about elements in the periodic table. These activities would include experiments to test the melting and boiling points of various elements, and other experiments that would allow students to explore the physical properties of some elements, including conductivity, density, and magnetism. In this unit, most of the classroom time would involve experiments and investigations that student groups would be able to engage with at their own pace without much upfront instruction from the teacher. Throughout the unit, I would post online activities that students would be expected to complete, which would help them to develop deeper understanding of the concepts and activities that they were working on in class. For example, after students familiarize themselves with some of the elements via a card sort activity or molecule building exercise, students would be directed via a link on Edmodo to an online simulation by FET Colorado about building molecules, or a BrainPop video about the periodic table of elements, and more videos from the Khan Academy that would describe periods and groups in the periodic table. I would also post a question each week on Edmodo to offer students another way to interact with the content. Students would be expected to write a response on the discussion thread and read and respond to the responses of their peers. To support students, I would offer templates for the organization of the group video project. This would overcome the barrier of students not being able to handle the unstructured pace of a blended learning unit that requires them to do work outside of the classroom. Such a template would allow students to ensure they are completing tasks in a timely manner and according to the rubric specifications. Regular check-ins with groups at the end of class time would offer students support throughout the process of creating their video. To conclude the unit, students would create their online presentation and share it to the Edmodo website for the teacher and their peers to view. Presentations could be viewed in class to receive verbal feedback, or online with written feedback from the teacher and their peers, and save even more class time for work on the next interactive unit. Information used during this presentation was gathered using the following references. Hopefully you can take something away from this presentation to help you in applying the blended learning instructional model using universal design for learning principles in the science classroom. Thanks for watching.